4 killed, 20 worshippers abducted in gunmen attack in Kogi communities. So according to the reports here on the Vanguard this afternoon, armed gunmen yesterday, right, so this is how fresh it is, attacked the first Ekwa church in Ayeto Rukiri, Kababunu local government area of Kogi State, killing one person, abducting 20 others. This is coming as gunmen in a coordinated attack on the same day attacked the Okeagi and Eli communities in the Mopamuro local government councils of Kogi State, killing 3 persons and abducting many. The attack at Ekwa Church in Ayeto Rukiri left one worshipper simply identified as JJ dead during the assault. Local authorities and security operatives said they will continue to assess the situation as a number of the abducted persons may even be more than 20. So many times for journalists, many times when insecurity reports are being made, the first thing we want to look out for is whether there is a police report confirming the incidents. The moment you have that, then you are certain that yes, indeed, that event actually did take place. All right. If the police do not confirm the report and give figures, we do not take it as something credible. But I mean, here, because sometimes I like to think to myself, this is not true. This isn't happening. And then when the police confirm, then you are now like, wow, this actually did happen. So the chairman of the council area, Zacchaeus Dari Michael, in his reaction, blamed the church for opening service in a tense area. It further shut down all markets in the area. That's the chairman of the area council where this happened in Kogi State. Blamed the church for opening service and further shut down all markets in the area. In the Mapo Muro Council of the state, the attack on the Okeagi and Eli communities was said to have occurred simultaneously around 4 a.m. on Sunday, leaving many dead, others are injured, and some residents abducted. The armed bandits were said to have operated in the 2 communities for hours before distress calls were eventually received. In the first community, Jamaro settlement, located between Okeagi and Takete Isao, and largely inhabited by Thief people, was attacked. 2 persons were confirmed killed, while 3 others sustained injuries and are currently receiving treatment at an undisclosed hospital. The Eli attack was on a Basa community close to the community grammar school. 1 person was reportedly killed during the raid, while 3 others were kidnapped by the attackers. The incidents in the 2 communities were confirmed by the chairman of Mapomuro local government area, Honorable Ademola Bello, alongside traditional authorities and community leaders. Residents and community sources expressed deep concern over the delayed response to the attacks, noting that the assailants operated freely for over an hour before help was alerted. So that's what we have from Kogi State as at yesterday morning. Black Monday it is over there in Kogi State as I'm speaking with you right now. So I think, like I said, I'll take this as a reminder. Once again, it's a reminder that, ladies and gentlemen, in the heat of the festivities, we've got to remember that we're in quite sensitive, critical, tense times as far as security is concerned. Like the local government chairman of one of the local governments that was ransacked said, blaming the church. Frankly speaking, see, I'll say this. I'm a believer, right? I'm a Christian. But I'll say this, right? Security, first and foremost, over any other thing. Security. I know people like to say, let's go to church, let's do this, let's do that, let's gather for religious, and all that is good. But see, it is only someone that is alive that can go to church. If you're not alive, how do you then go to church? So I think the local government chairman was right in his call to have said you shouldn't have opened church. Besides, the service starts by 4 a.m. So possibly, you know that some of these churches, people stay there, people live there, people have all manner of 7 days, 21 days, camping in the church premises. But again, we've got to use our gumption. There are really sensitive, high-prone areas where insecurity is on a high. Right now, internationally, some states in Nigeria are flagged more than other states. And Kogi State is one of them right now. So here's what it is, Somi. Sad one.
Okay. I have a bit of a response to that, but let's go on this commercial. But when we come back, we'll take that and more.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.
Admission, admission, admission. European University of Nigeria, EUN Abuja, is calling on all students with a JAM score of 150 above. If you want a place that gives you solid learning, real support, and a clear path to your future, this is your chance. At EUN, you study under European academic standards, mixed with Nigerian excellence. Our classrooms, labs, and study areas are built to help you focus.
Audio
Nigeria Info. And Somi, yes, you were saying.
What you say, first and foremost, about safety, above all else, safety being a major consideration in certain parts or certain states in the country. But I honestly feel like if we were going to go by this whole thing of, you shouldn't have opened, for example, because it's a tense area. I think we'll have a country where in more states than none, church services are not holding, markets are not operating, people are not going to the farms.
Right.
It's beginning to be some kind of a template, I think, when you have officials who ideally should first and foremost consider the failings that they have. In fact, that they didn't provide the necessary security architecture, which are basic things. I mean, that's the first thing that should come up. If this state is under attack, or there have been information of the repeated attacks here and there, beef up the security system around the state in all the areas that are considered key areas, as opposed to coming out to say, blame you because you opened. So, for example, you talked about the fact that the attack happened around 4 a.m. Really and truly, except there was a vigil going on, there is that consideration that people actually were staying in the church. And some of the people who were, caught up in this attack were people that just happened to be within the area. But then again, if it's a vigil, for example, vigils, to the best of my knowledge, don't happen on a regular basis. So how do you, who is living in a community, protect yourself really and truly by just shutting down? The same thing happened, I think, with the Niger kidnapping, where they said, the school was not supposed to have opened. And this is a school that had hundreds of children. And you say they should not have opened, so what? They should just remain shut. And I remember when that incident happened, where they came out and they were, claiming, there was a directive that the school should not open. I remember thinking, really. And then, of course, the response then was that they were shutting down schools. And you're just shutting down no timeline as to how long you're shutting down, no follow-up effort to see that, okay, you can open within a specific amount of time, and we as a state or we as the officials have done what it is that we need to do. You just have people coming out, and the first thing they're doing is laying blame at the door of these helpless people who were just going about their daily business. And yes, for a lot of people, going to church is daily business. For some people, I mean, look at our Muslim faithfuls. Are you telling them that, would you say, okay, because of insecurity, they shouldn't observe their prayers? Things like that. So, yes, there is cause for consideration, to say, okay, perhaps this is how we should operate. What was that? A church in the U.S., I can't remember what city it was. They came under attack, and their response was, who are the veterans or who are the former military people in the church? Please come with your licensed weapons and then act as the first line of defense. Perhaps before you come out and say you shouldn't have opened because it's a tense area, consider, okay, what are the security things that we could have done that we did not do? And then you use that to be your first response, not blaming them for opening. Look at the situation with the girls who were abducted on the farm. The same response. You should have notified so and so people that you were going to the farm. So literally for every aspect of people's daily lives in these communities, they have to notify security agencies, or they have to consider, okay, we should not open, or we should not. I mean, the communities will basically shut down,
right?
If that is the approach,
right?
So yes, there extenuating circumstances that call for certain approaches, but this response that is now becoming a normal thing, where you make people's normal activity seem like, oh, you should have sought permission before doing it, is what I have an issue with. And then again, attacks have been rampant on Okun land in Kogi State. Okun is vast. I believe Okun is like considered more like the almost Yoruba speaking. It's not Yoruba they speak, but what they speak sounds a little bit like it. And it is made up of Yagba East, about 3 different local government areas make up Okun land. So if you say that, okay, they should shut down because there have been attacks, that means you're shutting down. Do you know how many communities, how many churches, possibly how many schools you'll be shutting down? The one that happened in the Kababunu axis, which is not even Okun land. But then again, there was, I think, the other community that had the Mokwa affected. Mokwa is part of Okun land. Yagba East has been under attack also within the last couple of weeks. I think that there was an attack in a church in Yagba as well, where there were announcements of 500 million naira ransom that was supposed to be paid. So the first line of action, for me, the first response should not be that of blame on the innocent people who were caught up in these attacks. Right. But you should have, for example, the governor of Kogi State taking a frontline approach and ensuring that really and truly, because it's been 3 weeks now, almost a month since we started having these attacks in Kogi State. If it's not travelers that are affected, people who are going from one state to the other, who just happen to be caught within that axis, it's people who are living their lives in this community. So, I mean, it's just unfortunate, and really and truly, the first response that we normally see is also very shameful. The government needs to step up. So responders in this case, whether it's community leaders and whoever that are blaming people for opening up, they should be ashamed of themselves.
See, everything you said, Somi, I'm just going to say this so we can move on to the next story. Everything you said, I agree with you, absolutely. I think it's a shame on our... You're waiting for the bot.
What's coming?
It's a shame on our leaders, really, that we allow insecurity to fester for so long. It's a shame, absolute shame. All our leaders, all the office holders at different levels, local government, state government, federal government, is an absolute shame and indictment on all of them. However, I have a problem with Nigerians, and this is why I would favor that people shut down as a form of solidarity. Here's what I mean.
Is it solidarity or is it fear?
No, not fear now. I'm even saying shut down as a strategy. We are too adaptable. We adapt too much, Nigerians. It looks like there's no breaking point for us as Nigerians. And this is a genuine concern I have. We have no breaking point. It's very rare, apart from NSAS in recent times, apart from the NSAS, which I saw something organic grow by itself, we don't, it looks like we don't, if you push Nigerians to the wall, an average Nigerian, instead of him to face you and confront the issue, an average Nigerian will look for a way to break that wall and keep running. So that's why I said maybe it's actually okay. We should, so that they can know that lives are being halted because of this insecurity.
Well, NLC is planning a strike. The set date is 2 days
Not
from
NLC
today.
strike, I beg.
I don't understand.
Not NLC strike.
Is that not a shutdown enough for you?
But when NLC strike, when NLC goes on strike, when they begin to have the conversation, it becomes a labor conversation. We're talking about every Nigerian who is not a civil servant here. Insecurity, no civil servant now.
I don't understand.
So my point exactly is that this is beyond NLC. NLC can do their thing, right? This is beyond NLC, and in the last couple of years, the effectiveness, the efficacy of NLC and the strike has been in contest, whether it is efficacious or not. So this is beyond NLC. But I'm just saying, Nigerians, we don't have a breaking point. It's like we are too adaptable. That's supposed to be a good thing, but now it's playing in our disadvantage because.
So you're saying we've adapted too much to the state of insecurity.
One of the transport companies that goes by road, right? They just launched a bulletproof bus. I don't know how much. I've not checked to be sure. I don't know how much passengers will pay for that bus, but a bulletproof bus. Do you know what it means? That a bus. Do you know how heavy a bulletproof bus will be compared to a regular bus, and how much more petrol it will consume? Meaning that they'll have to increase fares significantly. So that it's good. It's creativity, innovation, and all that are great. But you see, when we do these things as a substitute to the things the things that we should do to solve this problem, Nigerians need to stand up against the leaders.
What will you have the transport company do?
No. I'm not saying it is bad.
Okay.
No, I'm not saying it is bad.
Okay.
My point exactly is that we are doing that without doing anything else.
I see.
Nothing else is being done. Let's move on to the next story.
All right.
What do we have here?
Do you need a moment?
Yes, please go ahead, Somi. I think I got fired up a little bit there. I think I got fired up.
As always. But there again, there you have it. All right, the federal government on Sunday announced a nationwide ban on the admissions and transfer of students into senior secondary schools, SS3 is what it is, in both public and private secondary schools across the country. The directive was issued by the Federal Ministry of Education in a press release dated yesterday and signed by the Director of Press and Public Relations, Buriwo Folashade. It was stated that the decision was taken following growing concerns over the increasing incidence of examination malpractice, including the use of so-called special centers during external examinations. And they've said that practices like that undermine the integrity and credibility of Nigeria's education system. And they came out to disclose that the policy will take effect from the 2026-2027 academic session. I personally feel like that's too long a time. I feel like before then, some other scheme would have come up that would make nonsense of whatever it is that they were trying to stop here, because 2026-2027 session starts September next year, if I'm not mistaken. So yes, that is the date that they have fixed for it, and they're saying admissions and transfers will be restricted strictly to senior secondary school SS1 students and SS2 students only. No more transfers in SS3. They added that admission or transfer into SS3, of course, will no longer be permitted under any circumstance. Of course, again, further explaining and giving context to the decision, they want to address the movement of students late into their secondary school education for exam-related advantages. So some parents are caught up in this one, honestly and truly. You can't take that away from them. Perhaps there's a problem with the school. Perhaps there's an issue somewhere along the line that they feel like, okay, their child may not be able to scale through come time for the SSCs. They now begin to move them around, or in some instances pay these special centers to ensure that their children get the, in quote, help that they need. And so this is why they have taken this decision. The Federal Ministry of Education has directed school proprietors, principals, and administrators across the country to comply fully. Oh, yeah, that's true. I heard, because, oh, my God, I heard a lot during this period when my son was writing. Apparently, there are schools that specialize in that. Specialize in ensuring that whoever registers with them scales through. They give them the help that they need. I'm hoping. That's why I said I feel like the timeline given before this goes into effect is a little too long. I feel like the schools who profit off of this, who make money off of this special transfers coming into their school, because I know a number of schools that would not accept them. You see, if you even try to get into a school in SS2, move in SS2, some schools make it difficult for you because they're like, foundation, at least SS1. But there are schools who profit from this. And so they're saying that any school proprietor, principal, or administrator who does not comply will face penalties. I don't know if they can penalize enough. I don't know. But again, like I said, 2026, 2027 seems a little too far off. It remains to be seen if they can follow through.
I see the motive. I see the intention here, but this is going to create a typical case of, so different things are coming to my head. This will create a case of when the wicked is being punished, the righteous will suffer. Because let's assume there's a civil servant that has a student getting into SS3, transferred from Lagos to Ogun State, or from Abuja to Imo State, has an SS3 student. So what's going to happen? So that's why I said it's going to create a case of when the wicked is being punished, the righteous will suffer, because there are going to be legitimate, verified reasons why relocation should happen, not just special centers. And I think this, I have not done any deep dive, and I've already poked a hole into this whatever initiative or law I want to call it, and it just shows how flawed it is and how thoughtless it might be. And I'm trying not to use harsh words here, but the honest truth is, I don't see this holding weight. I don't see it holding water, to be very honest. Because one of the biggest problems I remember when Mr. J.K. Kwele came on the show, it was on Hard Facts, with he headed a team that did an inquiry into, I think it was JAMB or why, I'm not sure now, JAMB. It was JAMB inquiry, special committee. And him and the team came on the show and spoke about their findings, and all of it. And one thing that anybody that follows the academic sector would know is that it's not like government has bad policies. In fact, according to them, the report that they gave, the CBT centers for the JAMB examination, the structure, right, technologically speaking, the structure that was set up by the federal government is one of the most robust globally. In terms of, at that level of education, that level of education is what some universities abroad use. We're talking about a level for secondary school students. So it's not in and of itself about the policy or the technology. It is about enforcement. It is about adherence. So even this one, how many people, how many schools? In the first place, the bigger problem here is this. The bigger problem here is you're supposed to teach students, a group of students, for 6 years. 6 academic years. A group of students, teach them, based on a curriculum or curriculum for different subjects. At the end of every year, you have them sit examination, and at the end of 6 years, that's to sit an examination that qualifies them to say you are due for a certificate that you went through 6 years, and you can now go to further level of education in tertiary institution. That's what the entire thing is. All that's a summary. That's the whole essence of secondary school to university is flawed by malpractices. Is it now a policy not so that they cannot flood, that they will not flood? I don't even think I'm trying to say here.
I'm trying.
My point exactly is this: the entire essence of going to school, secondary school to university, is flawed. So what the government is doing now is, let's look for stopgap measures so that they will not keep flowing. Do you understand? You don't get it. I'm sorry. But the point here is this. I think I'm being mindful of time. I want us to have our callers, our listeners join on the conversation. But my point here is this. I don't see it holding water, to be very honest.
Is it in itself a bad thing, the policy itself?
I think the policy in itself is lazy.
I see.
I think it is lazy. Because like I said, you're going to have people who genuinely, legitimately have to relocate. Some people will lose their parents. Some students will lose their parents. Some students so many things happen. So a government cannot sit and say that this is the one reason. This is the one reason why we are doing this policy. It sounds thoughtless to me, because that cannot be the only reason why people, yes, a vast majority, a good number, but you see, this is why you are in government. You make tough decisions.
Okay. All right. Let's take on the last story very quickly, and then we'll open up the phone lines.
All right. So the last story. All right. So the last story here. This one's quite regional, talking about ECOWAS rejecting Guinea-Bissau's plan, demanding swift return to constitutional rule. So the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, rejected a transition program announced by Guinea-Bissau's military rulers and demanded an immediate return to constitutional order, warning of targeted sanctions against those obstructing the process. Guinea-Bissau's military high command toppled President Umaro Sissoko Embalo on November 26, installing Major General Horta Inter Major General Horta Inter as interim president the following day. The move marks the 9th coup in West and Central Africa in 5 years, intensifying concerns over democratic backsliding in a region already facing political instability and insecurity. Now, at ECOWAS annual summit in Abuja, regional leaders called for the immediate release of all political detainees, including opposition figures, and insisted on an inclusive short-term transition in Guinea-Bissau. And I'm quoting here, it says, what ECOWAS leaders have resolved to do is to ensure that there is zero tolerance for unconstitutional change of government, said Omar Touré, president of the ECOWAS Commission from Sierra Leone. The bloc noted that the November 23 elections in Guinea-Bissau were deemed free and transparent by ECOWAS observers, the African Union, and the community of Portuguese language countries. ECOWAS has also mandated its chair to lead a high-level delegation to Guinea-Bissau for talks with the junta. If the military fails to comply with ECOWAS demands, this is where it gets interesting. The bloc warned it would impose targeted sanctions against individuals or groups blocking the transition, calling on the African Union and international partners to support its efforts. The ECOWAS stance underscores the regional body's commitment to uphold democratic governance and prevent further erosion of constitutional order in West Africa. All right, so that's what the report says. And yeah, it's quite an interesting one if you ask me. And I genuinely think that most of the countries in West and Central Africa, even up onto East Africa, okay, let's leave East Africa, maybe West and Central Africa. I think most of them right now, like we've said a number of times on this show, they look at ECOWAS in the eye and, excuse my use of expression, spit on the face. That's what I see here. I see military junta that do not have respect for ECOWAS. They do not even look at Burkina Faso, for example. Look at Burkina Faso. How many sanctions have been threatened towards Burkina Faso? But the guy, it reminds me of Ashake. Yeah, that's some the Ashake song. What's it getting me, Lord? That they've cut my ears. I don't hear anything. And then that's the position he had. I'm sorry. So you were shocked by that illustration. Mm-hmm. But that's the position that he gives to ECOWAS. He's still there to today. Right? And I dare say that ECOWAS took itself to that position. One of the strongest backbone of ECOWAS right now is Nigeria. Again, I've asked this question before. When was the last time Nigeria had free and fair election? You see, it's just like when you're preparing for war. You don't prepare for war on the day the war arrives and begin to gather your arsenal. You start preparing months, weeks before. Preparing your defenses, gathering your weapons and all of it. So when ECOWAS should have been positioning itself as a regional powerhouse whereby if it speaks, member nations will listen, is when elections happen and they are flawed. And ECOWAS keeps quiet.
It would take much more than just, a statement or two post-elections across any of the West African states. But I get the point that you're trying to make. Also, in terms of whatever targeted sanctions that they are threatening to deploy, whenever some of these coup situations come up again, they need to be so established and so grounded that the nations or the countries that they are threatening will feel a sense of loss and deprivation, really and truly, if they don't interact with them. But another thing that they promised to do going forward was to swiftly deploy their national or their standby force. I think that's what they call it. Yeah, the ECOWAS standby force, as it was deployed in the case of Benin. Yeah, where Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, Ghana, and Sierra Leone came together to foil the attempted coup, even though Nigeria played a key role in that. Oh, speaking of which, those 11 soldiers are still in
Burkina Faso.
Diplomatic conversations are still ongoing.
Which is why I said that these guys, they don't rate ECOWAS from here like to Bolingo Junction.
Okay.
They don't rate ECOWAS at all.
Well, we would hate to see a situation in West Africa where you are having rumors of coup or threats of coup, and what you're having is military deployments across, because it's going to start another kind of problem that we don't need.
And that is why ECOWAS knows that sanctioning is not working.
No, I'm not even
That's why they are sending. That's why they are resorting to troops.
To troops, yeah.
Yeah, because if you cannot use non-kinetic force, if it's not working, use kinetic force.
Those words. All right, let's open up the phone lines and get your thoughts on all the stories spoken about so far. 07000951 0000 0809-597-4869, and on WhatsApp it's 0809-993-0137. Let's talk.
Hello.
Hello. Good afternoon, Gabriel, Spectre, and Somi.
Good afternoon, sir.
My name is Salasi.
Welcome, sir.
I want to start by talking about the insecurity, like what happened in Kogi. And they were saying they shouldn't have gone. Just like what Somi said. I remember the killings in Borno that time. Garba Shehu say the farmer couldn't get clearance before they could go to their farm. Those 47 rice farmers that Boko Haram slaughter. Now, when you go to the northern part of the country, now they have shut down the school. In fact, there was a time we had that they said they shouldn't build, they should stop building schools in rural areas. You can imagine that. Don't show that the terrorists are winning. If they can say they should stop building schools, how can we eradicate this extremism and this insecurity? Is by building school, by enlightening them. Then now they are coming and say they are saying that they shouldn't build school. Who are taking the lead? That shows that the bandits are having their way on which is not supposed to be so. Most especially in Niger State here, most of the school has been shut down due to all this insecurity. Even before the Papri mission school was attacked. So these are the state of it. Then come to the issue of ECOWAS. Where were they when some people in ECOWAS were changing in ECOWAS control state? We are changing constitution for their selfish interest. Alassane Ouattara has been there for how many years? He changed the constitution for his personal interest. I remember when they pursued Laurent Gbagbo, when Laurent Gbagbo wanted to manipulate, the whole stood against Laurent Gbagbo. But what is he doing? Look at Cameroon, look at other African countries, because they are there as ECOWAS and doing nothing. They're just like a dog that can only bite, but they can't bite. That is why you can see what is happening in Burkina Faso and so on and so forth. They are getting their military on ground because they know that nothing will happen with ECOWAS. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, are you there? Okay, try calling us back. Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, welcome.
My name is Comrade Salisu on the line.
Go ahead, sir.
For me, I want to advise government into security of this country. From my own view and the way I stick in I look this country around about the security of this country. Let Nigeria president declare all the Niger here in this country to go their country. Because the way they're many in this country, pushing with barrel, Babambola, everywhere is the problem is getting out of hand. So let him declare them, because we already declared before Ghana must go, and we have to let them declare Niger to leave our country. If not, we will never get peace. These people are plenty in this country. Anywhere, everywhere you go in this country, they are full, they are coming every day. So when they don't do like this is a good way, even know where it comes from.
Why
as well from their side.
Why Nigerians specifically? Why Niger specifically?
Yeah, when come like my place here, everywhere we battle pusher, you see them, you see the rumble everywhere, so all of them they are Nigerian. You see them inside, they are completely full of them sleeping there. What is going on? And then you go to Abuja everywhere, even in Nasarawa is like that, the same thing. They're food up in this country. Let them go back to their country, please. We don't need them.
Oh, well, Nigerians are all over in Ghana.
No, so for me, I think it's a thing of, first of all, can you really tell a Nigerian just by looking at them? That's one. And then
very good question.
Have we had people who have been apprehended who are said to not be Nigerian, as people who are, that usually get caught up in this whole spate of insecurity? I know there've been conversations about the armed bandits specifically, yeah. But the people that he's mentioning, he says that people in his neighborhood, Babambola and the rest, until we're able to trace those ones, I think, and they're caught, their hands in the jar, and doing some form of insecurity or that, I think he might be a little too generalized to say all of them should go back. I don't know. That's just me on that one. But let's get back to the phone lines. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, ladies. For me and give respect. Bakar calling from Gwagwalada.
Welcome,
sir.
ECOWAS is no stereo as regional body when some of their members who are the head of state of various ECOWAS countries are manipulating elections and they are abusing constitutional provision, pursuing failure allegation, doing a lot of power abuse. They never speak, they never raise eyebrow. I'm sorry. But now, the best antidote against military coup is quality leadership, good governance, adhering to democratic principles. Now, in the whole continent, ladies, for me, no African president that command internet followership like Ibrahim Traoré of Burkina Faso. What got him that followership? It is quality leadership. It's patriotic. He loves his people and is making positive policies, improving the life of his people. So now, majority of Africa on African street, they welcome any military leader if he's patriotic and ready to move his country forward. Thank you. That is my take.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. Hello. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Somi. Good afternoon, Mr. Spector. This is Gerald.
Good afternoon, Mr. Gerald. Welcome.
Thank you, Mike. One of my take is quick, and it is in response to one of your positions, Mr. Spector.
Okay.
That seemed to suggest that when you said Nigeria is a bulwark of democracy and stability in West Africa, which is correct. However, you said, when last did Nigeria have a free and fair election? While it is debatable, I would like to say Nigeria has had a free and fair election since 2015. I know this will elicit a lot of divergent responses, which is fine. But I stand by that position. If anybody is saying, have we had a perfect election? I will say definitely not. But free and fair, yes. It was free and fair that removed Goodluck Jonathan and brought Muhammadu Buhari.
Okay.
All right?
Yes.
It was free and fair election. Now, okay, if I've ended, fine. But if it was free and fair that returned Muhammadu Buhari,
all right.
it complied with that.
Mr. Gerald, call back after the news. Call back after the news.
We have the news.
I would like to take you up on this.
I'll call back if I can get through. Thank you.
Passionately connected to everyone. Let's talk on Nigeria Info 95.1 Abuja.
The details,
the stories,
with the updates.
Your number one station for talk brings it all.
Nigerian politics is more the strategic. Even look at the presidential level, you see almost the same thing almost playing out. It's a game of numbers and popularity.
Even of us to help our brothers and sisters to rise up and condemn.
Don't be left out of the conversation.
Let's talk
On 95.1
Nigeria Info. And now, news from the nation's capital. This is Abuja Today.
Commercial drivers have noticed a small drop in fuel prices at some filling stations, but say it is not enough to bring real relief. The Dangote refinery recently cut its petrol gantry price from 828 naira to 699 naira per litre. However, this has only led to 10 to 15 naira reduction at the pump, with petrol still selling between 905 and 910 per litre at many stations. Drivers told our correspondent Chinatu Ogunna that the slight reduction barely eases their operating costs and is not enough to lower transport fares. They say fuel expenses still take up a large part of their daily earnings, making the small price drop insufficient. The drivers are calling on the government and regulatory authorities to ensure that cuts at a refinery level lead to bigger and more consistent reductions at filling stations to help both drivers and commuters.
It dropped, but not what we are expected. It dropped from 929. They sell at 909 naira, which is just 20 naira. And I say Dangote dropped 4, but now they just come out 20 naira. Me, I don't see anything that reduces inside. Government no airports at all. What we are working for 4, to be sincere. And the passenger are complaining, say we they put our price higher. If say they low like 850, passenger to go benefit. But why you then reduce 20 naira out of the money? How you want to reduce the money from passenger?
Dangote reduce the fuel price, but many filling stations in Abuja, some come out 10 naira, some come out 20 naira, which is very, very, very bad. Call that one like saying a dubious character for that 10 naira, 20 naira where they reduce. If you reduce the price of transport for customers.
The Karo Bagi Development Association has appealed to the Minister of the FCT to relocate the Karo Abattoir from the center of the community. Speaking on behalf of the association, Mr. Soma Sabo said the appeal followed the pollution and other environmental issues being suffered by residents of the community because of the location of the abattoir at the center of the community. Sabo urged the minister to relocate the abattoir from Karo community to an isolated area where the effects would no longer be a challenge to residents. And Christian leaders in the northern part of the country have called for unity in a bid to tackle the current security challenges in the region. Senior pastor of Dunamis International Gospel Center, Pastor Paul Eneche, disclosed on Sunday during the Northern Christian Stakeholders Solemn Assembly organized by the Stephanos Foundation. He urged the gathering to stand together to speak with one voice and take collective action to address security crisis in the region. Earlier, the convener, Mark Libdo, and the program coordinator, Stephanos Foundation, thanked partners in the United States, United Kingdom, and Netherlands who supported the program. Libdo said the gathering was not partisan, denominational, or ethnic, but a united effort to stand for the body of Christ. And that's Abuja Today on 95.1 Nigeria Info. Thank you for listening. More news comes your way 5 p.m. The news update. I am Joy Eberebe.
The details,
the stories,
with the updates.
Your number one station for talk brings it all.
Nigerian politics is more the strategic. Even look at the presidential level, you see almost the same thing almost playing out. It's a game of numbers and popularity.
Even of us to help our brothers and sisters to rise up and condemn.
Don't be left out of the conversation.
Let's talk
On 95.1
Nigeria Info. with all the stories that make the news.
Chestnuts roasting on an open fire, Jack Frost nipping at your nose, Yuletide carols being sung by a choir, and folks dressed up like Eskimos. Everybody knows some turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright.
The politics of our nation.
They have that right to protest. There's no need to go there now start shooting.
The current affairs of our state.
Everywhere we have gone to, the dirt of Abuja is not on the surface.
All at your fingertips on your Let's Talk station.
95.1 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Welcome back to Hard Facts.
This is Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
Hard Facts.
On 95.1 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back. Let's get into your thoughts and contributions on all the topics shared so far. If you are just joining us, welcome. Just a quick run through. We looked at the security situation, especially as it concerns Kogi State, and a response from one of the officials who was addressing why it happened and all of that. We also looked at the situation, or rather the decision federal government has made to ban transfers into SS3, and the reason that they gave was to curb malpractice. That's what they said. And also the situation in ECOWAS and their response to coups. They've cracked down on them, and then they are reordering the regional power structure, talking about deployment of their standby force to forestall any other incidents. And is that enough? Is the question that some people have been asking. Is there anything that you can do to make sure that coups don't happen in the first place? Or is it just going to be a reactionary response from them as opposed to a proactive one? Let's get back to the lines. 07000951 0000 0809-597-4869 and 0809-993-0137. Good afternoon.
Yes, hello. Good afternoon to you, my dear.
Welcome.
And our brothers there for the good. But how are you guys doing?
Well, we're very well, thank you.
Thank you. My name is Abraham Adesanya, breaking out from Worcester 5.
All right.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, one of our callers told us about those people from Niger, and our brother asked him, why did you want them to go back? Well, I got some facts from my own hands there. You see, those so-called Babambola kind of, those guys are hard with some sharp object, and sometimes they robbed us. That's number one. Number two, you see some of those people who are into banditry and other stuff in this part of the world, our own Obodo, Nigeria. I'm telling you, most of them, they are not from here. They are not indigenous, either the Fulani or whatever tribe they belong to. They are from somewhere else, maybe Mali, Niger, Chad, and who knows. So they are threats to our life. So as the man said, I seconded it. They should get them back, especially now that the government of Niger is no more, we are not the same, like, we're not in good relationship at the moment. So please, from the president to whoever in charge, foreign affairs, what's it called, interior or something, look into this matter. Let's see how we can, they are threat to our own lives. So you can please help us to excuse them out of this country, because this insecurity, those guys contribute more than 50%. I'm saying this, if they want fight, we can provide fight for you. You see, there's this bridge, this Uye bridge and other pedestrian bridge. Sometimes if you come across those guys in the evening, not even like 8 hours, 5, 6,
they will just come without their object. In fact, I had an experience with one of them.
Okay.
That was around 7 a.m. at Mbono, Wilson, close to 5 days. We parked in front of one of the supermarkets just to get something inside. And one of my brother is inside. Someone that sits at the driver's seat was there. But I plugged my phone at the back of the, So now, maybe because of the transaction inside, because some kind of, news that something flashed at the back.
All
That's how we it's not because of the security close to the place who helped us to apprehend this guy. And it's Ebola. We saw him with his dad.
Okay.
We always look for him until we discovered that nothing really happened. Now we let him. So please.
My question is, I heard everything you said. I heard everything you said. And for me, the question is, you could tell just by looking at the person that the person was not Nigerian, or are we being emotional, a little too emotional in our response? I understand that there have been infiltration, especially from the Sahel regions, if I'm not mistaken, yes. And then also the breakdown of relations with Nigeria and Niger and some of all those other states has allowed for a gap, sort of like a failing, because I know we had a multinational joint task force that had some of these countries working to, stop that infiltration. If Niger, who is our the country that sort of like is in between us and some of those regions where you have some of these infiltrations coming in, I understand that sentiment to say yes, but to now assume that every other person who is committing some kind of a crime or Babambula and all of that, again, they've not been tied to it, and you just want to say if you are from Niger or for example from Burkina Faso, from any of that country, then you should leave. I think that's a bit of a faulty assessment.
Nigerians are in Niger Republic.
No, so that's what I'm saying. You can imagine with some of the incidents that happened, for example, in South Africa that led to xenophobic outcries from the South Africans. So there are a few people, but you don't want to fall into that trap of generalizing. And yes, if it is the armed bandits and all of that, and they've been able to trace that these people are mostly not Nigerian, I agree. But the person who made that call in the first place was talking about Babambola and some of all these other people. At some point, we say the beggars too are not Nigerian.
Those are administrative failures. They are systemic failures. They have nothing to do with people or where they're from. Nigerians do almajiri.
Mm-hmm.
Nigerians beg.
Some of the people who have been found to be bandits are indigenous from our side as well.
Some of the corporate beggars on the street are from the south. So, then if we look at the ECOWAS, some of the ECOWAS charters, talking about freedom of movement within the ECOWAS corridor. You cannot just bundle some people group from another neighboring country and throw them out. It doesn't work like that. And that's why even when Ghana, some months ago, when Ghana was saying that Nigerians should pack and go, did you see the Ghanaian government come out and say, Nigerians pack and go? No, it can't happen because it's against certain charters within the ECOWAS member nations that says that citizens of member nations can freely move. Yes, of course, you want to look at security as a major issue, and they want to ensure that you have the necessary minimum legal requirements to move freely within these countries, like your passport and what have you. But then again, you can't just bundle some people and say because these people they do Babambola. If the people are roaming the streets and picking up iron, it's a systemic failure.
But having said all that, our administration has a huge role to play in checking the porosity of our borders as well.
Oh yes, and that's why it's part of it is when I say systemic failure.
Because it's possible that you're having some of these, nefarious elements looking at the country and thinking, oh well, I can come in and get away with this here, and they come in under some guise of some other ethnicity or some other religion, and they go about perpetrating their bad businesses. So while correcting that notion, let's also call on the government to say, look, our borders, we spoke about it about a month or so ago, over 1,000 borders unmanned, very porous, and allowing for all sorts of things to happen. All right, let's get back to your contributions. We'll start with this voice note here.
Good afternoon, Gabriel, Spectre, and Somi. My name is Salis. I'm reaching you from Gwarimpa. I think, Gabriel, I'm with you on this one. In as much as religion in Nigeria is a very complex one, sometimes we try as much as possible to, dribble away from the truth or not say it as it is when it comes to religion. I think irrespective of your faith right now, and if you know that your prayer house, any place you are going to worship is in a place where security is a problem, I think it's better you just abstain and probably look for a better solution. Safety first. And I think this is important. Okay.
All right, thank you. Jay from Gariki says, to me, what happens to children who relocated with their parents who were transferred to a new town and are day students? This is not the cause of exam malpractice. She's saying they should do their research. This minister is definitely a round peg in a square hole. Every policy he has come up with has issues, including the supposed new curriculum that no one has seen. This guy will produce more illiterates faster. Wow, Jay. Wow. No, no, Jay, no. No, we're not going to take that. Okay. Let's see. Bandits or Boko Haram are not winning. The people winning are those who we cry to change the current situation of things, and their aim is exactly what is happening in the country. Bandits are just boys. Philip from Airport Road with that one. Let's take this voice note. Okay, they're taking the time. We are working for fuel, said one of the men Nigeria Info interviewed. We hear you, sir. Huh? What is this in response to, Mrs. Omeza? Your message is not clear. No admission into SS3 classes is the lowest form of thought and idea for the minister. Let's see. The society is a mobile one. Therefore, people move from states to states, rural to urban, region to region, and vice versa on account of many reasons with their wards and while in transit. They kept appointing people who their generations had passed to lead in this digitalized world. It is a matter of installing and strengthening anti-examination cheat systems. Even in the past, Buhari had a minister that served in the same ministry and confessed thereafter not knowing anything regarding the educational systems. Okay, Jay, with that message. Now let's see if the voice notes will play. If not, we'll move back to the phone lines.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, good afternoon.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Clearly. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, my name is CJ.
Welcome, Mr.
Hello?
CJ. Go on, Mr. CJ.
Yeah. Gabriel, talking about adoption and killing in a community in Kogi State.
Right.
Gabriel, which way forward now? Where do we follow? Do we think the Nigerian government is capable of solving the insecurity? To me, no. Why? Because many politicians, the leaders that lead the community, where the leader is wanted in something drug or terrorist, how can that leader, how the community look like? The community will be seeing a sort of insecurity, drug, every sort of crime you will see in that community. What am I saying? This government cannot fight this insecurity at all. Put me anywhere, anyhow, anytime, as far as this government is concerned. The best thing is just what? Let the American come. Look at the congressman, all the way from US, went to the lion's den and discover and check everything and went back and tell us what is on ground.
Okay, so
you understand?
Quick question.
Our senator is sitting down there, forming community upon community upon community.
Quick question, sir.
What is supposed to do?
Quick question.
The congressman came and do it.
All right. All right.
Let us tell ourselves the truth.
I want to ask you a question. Are you there, sir?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, so
I'm here.
You clearly have a position. The U.S. government should send troops. Or is that what you're saying? Don't let me put words in your mouth. What exactly do you want the U.S. to do?
What I want U.S. to do now, U.S. have already discovered everything, no matter how we pretend. You make a comment that we are adopting everything. And it's true. The main thing now is the U.S. to come in. Forget about presidency. Forget about Nigerian government. Let me tell you, Gabriel.
Yeah.
Go and check how U.S. went to Syria. Exactly. The Syrian government is still down backing the ISIS.
It's not the same. It's not the same thing, sir. It's not the same thing. So let me give you a scenario, right? So let's say the U.S. government comes into Nigeria, and you said they should forget about the Nigerian government. So the Nigerian government.
Let me clarify myself.
Okay. All right.
Forgetting about the Nigerian government is pretending they are pretending because they cannot do or without a government.
But the U.S. government cannot come. They cannot come without being invited.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying. Is that what you're saying?
You say what?
The U.S. government cannot come. They cannot send troops to Nigeria except Nigerian government invites them.
Let me tell you something. Sometimes there is state terrorism, like Syria, Libya, you understand, Afghanistan. The U.S. cannot wait for Nigerian citizens to be dying like a fowl. You understand? They cannot wait.
What is in it for U.S. government? Why would they do that? What do they want to benefit?
The leader of Nigeria and politicians is a few. The Nigerian citizen life is more than
you have not
politician.
You have not answered my question, sir. My question to you is, what significant benefit does doing that for Nigeria have or is to the U.S. government? Why do they like us that much that they want to do that for us? Why would they want to do that?
Let me tell you.
Okay.
It's better we dey under U.S. than we dey under bandage.
Under U.S. in what sense?
In the sense that they come and clear this and take the earth resources they want.
Oh.
You understand?
Okay, all right. I get you now. Thank you so much. Okay.
Hi, Gabriel.
Mr. General, welcome back.
That conversation. Why did you end that conversation?
So that we can take your call.
Continue the debate. Quick one. Okay, so let me conclude my thought. Thank you for the opportunity.
Right.
So I was saying that my view, very firm,
right,
honest, that if I'm facing my God, I can defend it, is that elections were free and fair. Is it perfect? No. Does our laws and democratic practice envisage that elections should be perfect? No. That is why it is rooted in substantial compliance theory. Given your cultural realities, given how your people behave, the politicians and then their supporters, the voters,
right?
Does this election comply substantially with the requirements? My answer is yes. There are disputations in America. There are disputations everywhere concerning election. Ours also follow disputation. I round up. In 2023 elections, please, what happened? It is just the only complaint majorly was transmission of result electronic. The law says it collects manually, but Professor Yakubu wanted to do Nigeria one better. And so that did not happen. But if you check every other thing concerning the election, senators, more than most other elections from oppositions, won.
Okay.
Governors, won. And finally, president lost his place, lost other West states. Obi won in Lagos, won another Southwest state. Atiku won Osun. In Southeast, Obi won by 90-something%. But yet, just because there was no electronic transmission, we say it is faulty. It is not free and fair.
Okay.
I rest my case.
Thank you. Thank you. Has the government of every country in the sub-region asked itself what is causing the coup? Ekeneme Ernest is asking. African leaders are recalcitrant, he says. Underdevelopment in Africa is intentional. They have chosen to keep Africa as it is at the moment because it favors them. That in response to the ECOWAS story. Let's take the final message here. Good afternoon, Somi, and greetings to you and Gabriel Spector. When I thought that the late Buhari was a failure, I never knew that this current president would be the worst of them. How can a government watch helplessly while all these known terrorists have a free ride on the citizens? In fact, they have conquered as many local governments as they can. They've collected taxes here and there. They have shut down schools, churches, and even markets, and yet the government would tell you that they have repented. In fact, the government even gave the podium to talk negotiate, and is reintegrating them back into the society. So, the simple truth is that the government knows what they're doing while they pretend to tackle insecurity. Now we are to blame for going to church, school, or even markets. And then, what's hell on earth again if we're not in it now in Nigeria? Obedient man with that. Let's go on a break.
Then there's MTN Yellow Tide December. From streets to rooftops, the wave is hitting with massive surprises. Juicy holiday bundles, giveaways, discounts, luxury experiences, and so much more. So whether you're based in Nigeria or you just got back, if you want to party, chill, watch movies, travel, and even for lovebirds getting married,